multiple Democratic members of Congress, along with the Democratic mayor of Newark, New Jersey, have been arrested for criminal trespassing at the ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey. The arrests were carried out by the Department of Homeland Security. So we have a couple videos here to go through. We're going to talk a lot about this. Let's start breaking this down. First off, this is the mayhem as it unfolded earlier today.
Get off of her! You cannot push it! You cannot Congress! You can't push members of Congress!
You can't push members of Congress? These people actually do. They think they're above the law. They are criminally trespassing. And then when they are being removed by federal immigration officers off of private property, hey, you got to go. You can't push members of Congress. These people actually do think that they are above the law.
Get off of her! Don't tell him you can't put a hand up there. You cannot. Fuck you. There's a cassette show. You cannot. What? And you better not touch her either. Tell him.
So pretty much this mayor and these Democratic congressional reps, they were trying to breaking into an ICE detention facility, and they were forcibly removed because they're not supposed to be there. They can't be there. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, you're going to be handcuffed. You're going to be pushed. You're going to be kicked out. Some of them got arrested. I think this individual here in the red, we're going to talk about her more in a moment. She was the most belligerent of all of them, if you can imagine that. And of course, you heard it at one point in this video. You're fascists. You guys are fascists. You will notice the Democrats are totally happy to have law enforcement when they are in control. The progressives are more than happy to weaponize and utilize federal officers, the local police departments, for their own benefit to subjugate their political opposition, the conservatives. But the second the legal system or the police or the federal agents are being used against them to remove them from a place they should not be, suddenly it's fascism. Suddenly everything is fascist. Okay. All right. So I want to show you guys this here. Multiple Democrat members of Congress broke into a New Jersey ICE facility. The mayor of Newark has been thrown in handcuffs and taken away by the Department of Homeland Security. Let's take a look at this here.
So we have some new information from DHS regarding this incident that we've been watching. I know this is sort of a static shot here of these few folks on the other side of this fence, but we want to fill you in on what has been happening in Newark, New Jersey. DHS says, quote, a group of protesters, including 2 members of Congress, stormed the gate and broke into the ICE detention facility.
I don't know about you, but this sounds like an insurrection to me. Hold up. They stormed a federal facility? Democratic members of Congress and a mayor, a Democrat mayor, they stormed a federal facility. This sounds a little bit insurrection-y to me. I don't know, man.
The members, Robert Menendez Jr. and Bonnie Watson Coleman, and multiple protesters are holed up in a guard shack area, the first security checkpoint. Interim U.S. Attorney Alina Habba for the District of New Jersey posting on X that Newark's Democrat mayor, Ras Baraka, was there and, quote, committed trespass. Here he is talking about the facility earlier in the week.
We know what ICE has done in the past. We've seen them. We know how they operate. We know that they have picked people up who have not broken any laws. We know they've deported people and refused to bring them back.
Real quick, can I have one example of someone that ICE has deported who should not have been deported? Any example, one example, just one example of ICE deporting someone that should not have been deported? No, I didn't think so. Of course, they're going to talk about Mr. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the MS-13 gang member, wife-beating, terrorist, human smuggling, illegal immigrant. That's who they're going to talk about. But anyway, anybody else other than that? No, I didn't think so.
So joining me now by phone, Republican New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Congressman, good to have you with us. What is your understanding of what happened here and what's going on?
Well, I don't know that any of us totally understand what happened there. It's not understandable. It's people who are supposed to be writing the laws, abiding by the laws, believe in the rule of law, and they are breaking the law. And what's really disturbing that this happened in New Jersey, in the state that is a sanctuary state declared by the governor, where we've spent money on God knows what, on clothing, housing, feeding, transport.
I need to give a very maybe controversial take real quick. I have to say, I am getting sick and tired of sanctuary cities and sanctuary states undermining and subverting the democratic will of the people. We, the American people, have voted on federal immigration legislation. It's on the books. We have rules and laws and regulations in this country. How collectively as a nation have we permitted these far left radical mayors and governors and city council members, whoever is doing this, to just say, you know what, federal immigration law, we're not going to follow that. We're going to ignore the democratic will of the people. We're going to ignore the congressionally passed legislation that we have. We're just going to say, we're not going to do that. And we're going to actually, instead, we're not just going to allow illegal immigrants into our state, into our towns. We're going to aid and abet them. We're going to support them. We're going to give them money and housing, all at the taxpayer's expense. How has this been allowed to go on, not for years, but now for decades? How have we tolerated this?
And everything else with illegals. Now we don't want to send those illegals back to where they belong, that have been indicted or convicted at their country of origin or in the United States. We don't need that here in America, and we don't need it here in New Jersey. These folks who are there, especially the members of Congress, and I'm always reluctant to criticize my colleagues, but this is terrible. They don't have their finger on the pulse of what real hardworking Americans are thinking. You know.
Oh, great. So this is a Democrat calling out another. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I apologize. This is actually a Republican. I was thinking this is a Democrat calling out his fellow Democrats. That would never happen. No, we're listening to a Republican, Van Drew, right now, representative from New Jersey. Of course, a Democrat is never going to call out another Democrat. That doesn't happen.
You know what, Martha? Most people right now in New Jersey are breaking their ass, trying to make a living, doing the best they can to pay their mortgage. There are very high taxes in the state of New Jersey, and they're sick and tired of this.
Do you have any indication? We know that Alina Habba, the interim attorney of New Jersey, she says that the mayor of Newark, Baraka, committed trespass in custody, or he was arrested. We're trying to get some clarity on that.
I know, and to the best of my knowledge, he is not in custody. But that, things are breaking and changing as we speak, so I don't know that for sure. But here is someone in the executive branch of local government, a mayor of our largest city in the state of New Jersey, willing to break the law that he is supposed to have enforced. And that is such a disturbing picture. That is just unacceptable. So, and Alina Habba is doing a great job. And
all of these Democratic politicians, these congressional House reps, the mayor of New Jersey here, I think we're talking about, you have got to be impeached. Impeached, and by the way, that's at a minimum. Impeached at a minimum. Maybe we're talking federally indicted. Maybe we're talking criminally pursued. Maybe we're talking we are pressing charges. Listen, there's an old quote. I actually think that it goes back to the Greeks. We're talking 2,500 years ago. As a society, you get what you tolerate. Does that make sense? What you get is what you tolerate. If we as a society tolerate behavior like this, especially from our elected representatives in our executive government, then our society comes crumbling down. Okay? If we allow our elected representatives to behave like this, how do you think everyday normal people are going to be behaving? Okay? If you're turning a blind eye to crime at the highest level, at the top of the food chain, of course, everybody's going to be behaving like this. We have to do something about it.
And she's a great U.S. attorney, interim right now. I'm hopeful she will be our permanent U.S. attorney in the state of New Jersey. So she needs to do what she needs to do in order to ensure that we abide by the rule of law. This is America. We're a nation
right.
of laws, and we
Yep.
believe in the rule of law. And I can't tell you how profoundly disturbed I am that, there are those folks who should be actually enhancing the enforcement of the law who are purposely breaking it, making America weaker, New Jersey weaker. It's a bad thing.
We had to hear for 4 years during the Biden administration, during the Biden era, nobody is above the law. Hey, Republicans, nobody is above the law. Nobody is above the law. Republicans, you know what? Sure. All right. Hey, let's match that energy. Hey, Democrats, guess what? Nobody is above the law. Not Letitia James, not Nancy Pelosi, not these other Democratic congressional representatives that just broke the law and tried to literally invade an ICE detention facility today. Not this Democratic radical far left mayor. Hey, guess what? Nobody is above the law, not even you. And now we're going to hold you accountable. On this very same story, we hear from Alina Habba, who's very close to President Trump. Let's see what she has to say about this.
Alina Habba, a U.S. attorney in New Jersey, joining me again. So, Alina, you heard their descriptions of what happened. They said that the mayor was outside the fence and that he was taken away by 20 armed individuals and that they were all intimidated by federal officials on this property. What do you say?
I'm going to say the truth and correct them. I'm sorry that you're.
Does she have an AK-47 tattooed on her? Does this radical progressive mayor who has now been arrested for violently invading an ICE detention facility, is that an AK-47? That appears to be an AK-47 that's tattooed. Is she a gang member? Is she a member of MS-13? Is she a member of a gang? Do we have a gang member that's running Newark, New Jersey? What is going on here? Let's play the video.
I'm going to say the truth and correct them. I'm sorry that you're trying to politic this. Let me be very clear. You're right. Congress people have the right to investigate, and we allowed them in, number one. Number two, the mayor was actually inside the facility, was warned, was asked to leave several times, more than once, refused to leave, was put under arrest inside the facility, walked out when he was told he was under arrest, and then was cuffed. That is what happened. Lucky for our team in HSI, who I stand behind, who many people don't understand, the Department of Justice encompasses that. They did absolutely everything correct. If you look at these individuals' Twitter accounts, they have been openly saying they're going to go in. There is a reason these Congress people are standing out there.
So real quick, not only are the Democrats, these Democrat politicians, dumb enough to actually try to violently invade an ICE facility, but then they're posting about it on their Twitter pages. Leaving a paper trail. Okay, very smart, intelligent people.
They're running amok and running their mouths as usual. But however, I will tell you this. The mayor was inside, was told he was going to be under arrest inside when he refused to leave after several obligations, several notifications that he should remove himself, chose not to do so, and then was placed under arrest.
Okay, so it sounds like ICE actually played very nice. Hey, please leave. Hey, you're not allowed here. Hey, please, you need to leave. Hey, please, you need to exit the facility. Hey, please. So they actually tried to be accommodating. They tried to get them to leave peacefully. They refused to do that. The Democrats refused to do that. Okay, well, you have forced our hand. Guess what? Now you are arrested.
When he walked out of the facility. So while I love the scheme, the game, and the tactics of these individuals that are perfectly fine and were not touched, I will say very clearly, the mayor
They were
did
not
have
assaulted,
a right to be
these three individuals? None of them were assaulted?
Does
This is
it look
what they
like
said.
they were assaulted, Martha?
No, they looked
Does it look
fine.
like
But
they looked
I'm
absolutely
asking,
fine?
in terms of what happened in there, it is very striking, especially after having read the list of at least some of the people who are in this facility. And
Right.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what they are doing to protect the people of New Jersey.
It's called grandstanding, unfortunately, Martha. And when you break the law, there's no grandstanding that will help you. Period. The end.
Alina Habba, the interim U.S. attorney.
Alina Habba, you can tell she has had enough of these progressive antics. She is like, you know what? Yeah, hey, listen, Democrats, you're right. Nobody is above the law. You're going to jail. Hey, guess what, Democrats? You're right. Nobody's above the law. Get in the back of the cop car. You're going to jail.
for the state of New Jersey
Good.
as we have watched this confrontation play out between the mayor of Newark, New Jersey's largest city. It's a sanctuary city, and ICE officials after they showed up at this private detention facility that is holding at least 10 members of gangs, including MS-13 and other Dominican Republican gangs. Some of them have been accused of assault, drug possession, and other very violent.
I feel like I'm watching a movie. I feel like this is the plot of a Batman movie or something. You have these Democrats that are actually trying to break into a federal immigration detention center in order to break out and free a bunch of illegal immigrant MS-13 gang member terrorists, members of Tren de Aragua. They're breaking them out of jail. This is like the plot of a movie. What is going on here? Once again, these radical far left progressives, they have got to be held accountable. They have to have their date in court. They've got to be held in a prison cell. We cannot allow, I'm going crazy. We cannot allow this behavior.